Hello.
Mhm.
What
Good
was that?
morning.
What was that? What was that? Hello. It was like, oh, could have been any more low. Oh, like what could it? Were we getting ready to do a duet?
We're duetting. We're about to sing the same tune. Mine's a little lower than yours.
Yeah, you can be a bass.
Yeah.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. We are going to start doing things a little bit differently. So we also are now recording our faces. If you're interested. If you're not interested, you can stay on the podcast, like, wherever you're streaming, excuse me, and not look at our faces. But I will tell you right now, I have an interesting look. Should we keep it? Should we keep it at that it's just an interesting look, and I'm going to try to trick you guys, 4426 you, into coming to watch our YouTube channel. You're gonna have to watch the YouTube to see what I look like. I I do have a full face on, and there's also something else. And we also have our new hoodies that we just made, so that's exciting. If
Yeah.
you want to see our hoodies, I'll
Yeah.
show you. We'll show you. It's kind of hard to see on these screens, but should I just be like, oh, super?
I can.
You get that, guys?
You see it?
I'm sure
Okay.
you saw it. I really
Mhm.
love it. I love all of it. All of it. I just love it.
We did good.
I think it worked out with us not being physically near each other, and you're like, how big, how small, and where should it go?
I used to love it even getting here, like that
Well, that
actual
was,
sweatshirt
you want to tell
was
that story? I don't know if, did we tell it on here or did we tell it on Instagram? I think we told it on Instagram.
I think it was on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Crystal ordered the hoodies from a website to be sent to my house, and we waited and we waited and waited. And then she texts me and says, "Did you get the sweatshirts? They should have been at your house on Saturday." And I think it was a couple days later, and or the next day.
Yeah.
I don't remember precisely when. And I was like,
That
"No,
Monday.
but I'll go check around my house. Maybe it got, put at a different doorway. We have a lot of doors, garage doors. I don't know. Nothing was here. Not at the mailbox, nowhere." So Crystal gets in touch with the company. I try and get in touch with anybody on my street that might have a similar address. I left a note at the front of somebody's house, like under a rock, and was like, "Call me if you want to, if you had my package, and just let me know if you have it." They ended up texting me saying they didn't have it.
I was
I
like,
posted,
liars.
yeah, we thought they were lying. I posted in a community Facebook page and was like, if anybody has seen a box with my name on it, please let me know. I will confirm my address and all of my information. Meanwhile, Crystal's still getting in touch with the company, trying to get these sweatshirts reissued to us. And they, after much hassle with
I
them,
also hate, I just want to also add here, I have major anxiety
yeah.
with contacting and returns and all of that stuff. It gives me a lot of anxiety. Like somebody, I feel like I can't be that personal anymore. I don't know why. Like, in case anyone's listening, even though I feel like no one's ever fucking listening. Although I will say, I had a bunch of people like this last week ask for our podcast. A lot of people that I personally knew too. I was like, why?
Yeah.
I was like,
So interesting.
why do you want this? But anyways, so I'm like freaking out while I'm like messaging these people, and it also my undefined root between the pressure, anxiety, open solar plexus, and trying to navigate saying the right words. Also my open throat. My open throat just does not want to do any of this at all. Does not want to speak, and like navigating like saying the right words to these people. And at first they told me no, and I was like, "Excuse me." I was like, how dare you? Here comes my open solar plexus. I've been a loyal customer, also my defined heart, a loyal customer to you guys for years, years. And I've never had this issue. It's making me reconsider a lot of things. And then they were, oh, okay. Well, we're gonna get this package to you. We'll send it again. So they sent it again. And then Leah gets contacted. Do you want to tell that part where you get contacted? So we have this new package on the way with
Yep.
with three new hoodies.
New package on the way. The new version of the one that were supposed to get. And I get a phone call, a voicemail, and I was like, I thought it was spam or someone
Yeah.
calling about my car warranty. So of course I didn't answer. And I get a voicemail and it's like, hi, my name is, we're going to call her Pam for everybody's sake. And she's like, I got a random box at my gate, which according to UPS said it was left at a gate. There's only one house that I know of that has a gate. Apparently now I know two houses.
Okay.
And this lady's like, I had this package. I'm only here for 2 days. And I would like to get it to you if you can confirm that this is actually you and your package. Call me back at this number. So I call her back and I'm like, you have no idea how much trouble we have gone through. She actually went through trouble too. She called UPS and was like, you need to take this package back.
Yeah.
It isn't mine. You need to get it to the right customer. This address doesn't even exist. I don't know why it was left here. And said it. And so we ended up meeting up in town and I like confirmed my name with the box. And she was like, there you go. She's like, I'm so happy that you got it back. And I was like, you have no idea. Thank you so much. So, and she's like, I just want you to know that there are good people out in this world. And I was like, I
Yeah.
totally
I
do.
would
Cause
have probably given up at that point.
yeah,
Like
we had really like
that's
just kind of just been like, okay, we're getting new ones and they fixed it.
yeah.
So now we have double sweatshirts and
Right in time for spring. Spring.
yeah,
Who doesn't
yeah,
want three new
you were,
hoodies for spring?
yeah, you were outside and I, it's only 60. Might have been 60, might have been more like 50, but we definitely still have snow here in Maine.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, it's not.
I mean, in the morning you definitely need something,
Mhm.
especially here, and then at night. But midday, oops, sorry, I thought I dropped that for a second. Um, midday, it's beautiful. It's like between 60 and 70 lately.
Very nice.
So I don't
And
need a
speaking of
hoodie
this
during that
weekend,
time.
tell us about your craniosacral
Yeah. I
process.
I had another session. I feel like a lot of people also have been they're what's the word? I feel like they're emotionally involved now with this story. I bet
Yeah.
I've had people message me. I even had a friend say, "Oh yeah, I listened to your podcast and heard about your cranial sacral therapy session." I was like, "You did?" It's like, "Why?" Whenever someone that I know tells me they're interested in what I'm doing, I'm like, "But why?" I don't know. There's no answer after that.
Cool. It's
They
something that
people
not
just
a
say
lot
I'm
of people get to
interesting.
do.
People
Yeah.
think I'm interesting. I don't know. But I guess with what I'm wearing, that might be a key factor there. So yeah, I went to Simon. If you guys didn't know, I have a cranial sacral therapist named Simon. He is a 4-1 manifesting generator, pure manifesting generator. So he's sacrally defined, sacral authority. Excuse me. He also obviously he's sacrally defined. I like when I say things and I'm like, this is obviously a given. Anyways, so he has the 4323. And I had a realization. I wanted to tell you this. I'm okay. I'm glad this came back to me now. So I had this weird epiphany yesterday that every 4323 that I have met or that I know personally thinks I'm a genius. Because I have the 43.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like, the
43.
only people that ever think I'm a genius are 4323s. And I like started, like, every person that I knew that was a 4323 came to me, and I was like, they really think I have like the right words. That person does too. That person, and they think that like I'm doing something right. I just had a 4323 actually text me right before this asking another person asking for a podcast. And I was like, oh, all right. Things are happening with this podcast. Thank you to all the new listeners. We met a new listener last week. That was
Yeah.
exciting. I'm very, I don't know. Things are happening on this podcast. If you're new here, hello. We talk all things weird. Like I feel like that's all we really need to say. Like, do we need to tell you anymore? We talk all things weird. You know what that is. It's human design, it's astrology, spirituality. We're talking about craniosacral therapy. We have guests that are also a bunch of weirdos. I say that with love. Whoever's come on here so far and who will ever come on here afterwards, we love you. We're a bunch of freaks and geeks. Also, really like that show. Did you watch it?
No, I have not seen that.
What?
What?
With James Franco and like uh so many other people that I just literally lost all their names in my head just now. The only one I could hold was James Franco, but it's
I
from
like him.
the late like the early 2000s.
I probably didn't watch a lot of TV then.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Anyways. So, oh my God, I got to turn my phone over. I'm sorry that it's always when we're on here, people are messaging me and I'm like, it's distracting. My left brain can't handle it. Okay.
So,
Sorry.
so
We're back.
let's rewind back.
We're
Go to
back to
go to group
craniosacral.
therapy.
So, yeah. So 4323.
Mhm.
I wanted to tell you guys about this. It was definitely a 4323 experience. I mean, obviously the last one was too. They're always going to be when it comes to Simon. So, as I told you guys last time, Simon has these assistants, which are his cats. And he told me when I was there the other day, he does this at his house now. He used to have another place, but he decided to create a room in his home and it actually works out perfectly. And then he can use his cats because his cat, this one specific cat named Willie, he insists on being in the session. So he said that he wants to call like a news station and tell them about his cats. He's created this whole auditory experience for people of his cat purring. I should see if I could get a copy of it so we can put it on here.
I would
'Cause
100% listen to that.
I think every single person that is listening to this right now would love it.
Mhm.
Like it's so calming and it's such a natural vibrational sound and it like calms your nervous system.
Yeah.
So I'm
What
gonna
is that
ask
called?
him.
The ASMR?
Yeah, it's a
You
lot
say
of
that?
ASMR.
Oh yeah.
Whoever's into ASMR, you guys will.
Cat purring.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love a good cat purr. I'm not gonna lie. I miss cats. After the continually seeing these cats now, I'm like, I need another cat. Dave told me no, we cannot have another pet right now. And then I always wonder where I'm gonna put the litter box. Like I have like nightmares over where to put the litter box when I think about it. And I'm just like, forget it. Um,
Wow.
because I'm such a neat freak. I'm like, nope, can't go in that bathroom. Nope. The laundry room really is not big enough for that. And then I go through like every possible place in the house. And then I'm just like, never mind. So back to the cats. So I'm gonna see if I can get that. Remind me. If I forget, you you remind me, or somebody in the
I will
audience
remind
remind
you.
me. Someone
Somebody
remind me.
remind Crystal.
You want the cat purr. We're gonna put that as the intro.
Send a message.
And you or I could do a meditation over it.
I love it.
We're really entering the Aquarius time right now. We got a lot of Aquarius that just came in. We'll talk about that in a second. So, this experience was a little different, a little more dark. I feel like a lot of the darkness is like I thought I've pulled up a lot of my darkness and I've seen a lot of my darkness, but this one was a little more dark. And I don't have all the information yet. I don't know if I will be given this information. But so if anyone's like, what is cranial sacral therapy? Basically, in a nutshell, it's body work. He he's holding parts of my body. There's a little, sometimes there's a little bit of massage happening in the body, but there's like this focus. He's also left brain, by the way. He's left brain and right mind. Wait, hold on. Yes, left brain and right mind. I had to think about that for a second. I have his chart memorized. Um, and so he's like focusing, but he's also like expanding out to the entire body at the same time. I don't know how to explain this. I also told him that he could record the session. I think he forgot. So I was just like, whatever. Because I know that, visuals are helpful for what he does, because basically he sets off this like vibration in my body. For me, this is not always what happens to everybody. I'm just explaining my personal experience. So I was hit by a car in 2010. And I always had these kind of like weirdish body movements before that. But after my accident, or actually during my accident, when I got hit, my entire body started convulsing, specifically my legs, because my legs were completely, excuse me if this is going to bother some of you. So if you could skip through this part if it's hard to listen to, but I'm not going to be too specific about it. But basically, all my legs were, I fell onto the hood of this car, rolled into the middle of the street, like fell off the car into the street. I cut open my entire legs and they were convulsing. Like I was every blood everywhere, convulsing. And like there was no control over it. And so I always can come back to this moment whenever it's almost like my body gets set off. And then and some people, I don't know what they're like. I think it's a natural thing for us to honestly be having these shakes, but people are afraid of them. It's because there's I when I mean, you've seen me do them. When it happens for me, there's zero control over it. I have no, I'm just letting it, I just literally let it happen.
Yep.
And so for this one, my body shaking, and then he like was trying to, he goes into this place where he starts talking to the pain points and where and like the centers or the chakras where they are in my body. He'll start talking to them, and he started connecting to this place in me that was running from, and I kept seeing the 4629 channel for some reason when he was talking to this specific pain or blockage in me. And I kept seeing I have gate 46, and I kept seeing the full channel, like something happened to me with this circuitry. And so it was really interesting because he's like talking to this place, and he asked them their name, and this name was Far. And the reason why their name was Far is because it happened a long time ago. So they called themselves Far. And so we found out that they were from like around 4. Something happened to me, like something very traumatic that I don't even have awareness over. He brought me then back to my 4-year-old child self, and I started talking to her, and the only thing she would show me was me crying next to my little kitchen in my room. It's so interesting. I'm kitchen's environment, and that my mom, and I'm also calm determination. My mom gave me this kitchen, this play kitchen, and put it in my room. And so I would sit there for hours, like every day, like just making all these kitchen
Mhm.
concoctions in this kitchen. I actually meant to put that in part of our class, and I didn't. I think I talked about it on Clubhouse once, but I don't know, maybe we'll update it. But yeah, I have a very strong connection to the kitchen. Just like these events that occurred to me as a child, like with having this kitchen in my room, and then I used to bake with my mom when I was younger, and that was like our time of bonding. So there is a connection, even though it's not about kitchens necessarily for a kitchens environment person. There is a connection. Every kitchens person that I've spoken to thus far has said there is a connection to their physical kitchen, whether they like to cook or not. There just is. So all I could see was this little me crying at this kitchen, just like hovered over and like crying. And so I asked her what happened, and she wouldn't tell me. And she refused to go back to that moment of whatever happened. She wouldn't go back. And so and like everything started getting darker when she was like not allowing me to go backwards. So I'm like, this is a really, whatever this is like really dark. And so then he tried to call on my higher self. And so like she came in and she was talking to me, and then I'm talking to the little me and talking also to the blockage named Far. And he also asked me like what colors he goes into the whole all like all of the cognitions. He's like, what colors are you seeing? Are you hearing anything? And I'm just like, dude, you need to be more familiar with human design. Which I did do a reading for him, so he is a little more familiar. But I'm just like, it's just interesting, because it's
You
like,
think that it's in a different way, like he's using a different
yeah, yeah,
thing.
it's
Yeah.
all connected. So, even though she, the little me would refuse to go backwards, he was able to connect to my higher self that was then able to connect to the block. And the block finally said that they were ready to go. And he has this really calming, like British accent. So it's also very helpful. And so when the block decided it was ready to go, my entire body was like going like this and this and this and this and like but it was like this, like really, 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 really fast, and then it stopped, and then everything from that block just like went away.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
So how
That
did
was
you feel afterwards? What were your next couple days? Because I remember last time it was a
it's
longer
only been a
period.
day now. It's just been, I guess, a day and a half now.
Yeah.
So yesterday I was tired. Like I feel like after all, whenever I do these types of things, I get very tired the next day, which a lot of people do. If you ever get this done, I would highly suggest like having that next day blocked off of where you don't have anything going on. So I made sure to do that this time instead of like, working. But then Otis was sick, so that also eh, I wasn't able to fully just relax, which I mean, I knew that there was going to be some of that. I just didn't realize he was going to be like that, but it was okay. I was able to like take some time and process some more things, and that's also when I realized that everyone that's a 4323 thinks I'm a genius instead of a freak, and everybody else thinks I'm a freak. Uh, but yeah, I just processed some more stuff about my childhood and like things that I feel right now, and that I really need to allow myself to have support that I do have. Because
Yeah.
when people do want to support me, like I just said, like I say like, oh, but why? Like instead of like realizing like, hey, you do deserve support, and you do deserve to have people in your life that actually care about you and actually want to see you be successful and don't have this hidden agenda or jealous like undertones. Like I feel like a lot of my friends back in Florida had these jealous undertones, and then I always knew when my third line would be cut was when they would tell me that they were jealous of me because I have a defined heart.
Yeah.
I was literally just being myself. Also, I have defined G center. I was just being myself. And by me, I'm really working on this part of me of where I realize when I am truly myself and like I'm being like that real pure generator and my light's like really shining and people can't handle that, that's not my fucking problem.
No, it's not. Not at all.
So,
Because you can shine bright as you want to. It's just going to help everybody else shine in their own way. It
yeah,
doesn't mean they have to shine like yours. Yours is going to
right.
be different.
Everyone's different. And
Everyone's,
that's the beauty of being human.
yeah.
And hopefully, you know, at some point in the near future, we all get on board with that sleeping phoenix.
Coming sometime. But that
Oh,
was that one of the cards that I pulled during the, yeah, it was the card I
yeah, it was
pulled during the
perfect. It was a
Ukraine.
perfect. Oh yeah, we did. I guess for all the people that were able. I'm sorry, my throat's still a little funky from everyone being sick. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, I just want to say thank you to everyone that was able to make it out last week when we
Yeah,
did our heart healing circle. That was really amazing. That
it
was
was
really.
amazing.
You
I
want
think
to share?
everybody had such a different experience, but they all loved like each individual thing that everyone had to contribute. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just so powerful. I think the biggest thing that I shared already was the breath work.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when my body was doing the movements and I had no control over it. And I was like,
Mm-hmm. That's what
this is
it's kind of
God.
like
Yeah.
during a
Yeah.
cranial sacral therapy session.
Mhm. Yeah. So when you said that, I was like, I feel like I did just experience that. And I have been trying to search for anyone who's around here locally that does that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's
It's
hard.
nice to do it in person.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm searching. So if anyone wants to DM me, if they're in, I guess Maine, I can say Maine. And that would be cool if anyone knows of anybody. But yeah, I think that altogether, what everybody had to contribute and the power that we had as a collective in that Zoom, I feel like we all were able to fill our hearts and put as much toward the people of Ukraine as we could.
Yeah.
And whoever donated, thank you for donating.
Yes. If you couldn't
I'm
make it and you
still
still
finding
donated,
people. Yeah,
that was
I
beautiful
still
as
have
well.
people locally that are doing the same thing. You know, they're donating portions or all of their um, income from certain things to the people of Ukraine, which is really cool. I actually heard on, this is random, I heard on the radio today, and people already know this. I guess I'm way behind the times, that Airbnb is actually, and we are not sponsors, but hey, Airbnb. Um,
Hey, how you doing?
hey, hey, contact us. Um, they are allowing people to rent their Airbnbs out for people who live in Ukraine, who do Airbnb,
Mm,
for people who vacation there,
mm,
and they're waiving the fees
yeah.
for the
Mm-hmm.
renters and for the
Mm-hmm.
rental people, so that the people who are in Ukraine still get the money from
Right.
their rental
Yeah, a
property,
lot of even
and it's
hotels
going
are doing
directly
that.
to them. Mhm.
People are like helping people stay at hotels or like
Yeah.
just paying for rooms of these hotels that are not going to get any vacancies because obviously there's,
Yeah.
you know, what's happening over
Thought
there,
that was
which
really cool.
yeah, all like people are it's I feel like in time of hardship is when you really see humanity. So, I
We
also
just gotta keep shining our lights and
yeah,
spreading it out.
I also got my nails done in honor of
I
them.
saw that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something. They're pretty.
Thank you. If anybody wants to look at my nails on
Mhm.
YouTube, we're on YouTube. We've been on YouTube, but we have not really been posting much. But we wanted to make these hoodies so that we can come on here, represent, be defined G's. What? No, I'm just kidding. I can't. You guys are like, please stop. Just take a seat, Crystal. We don't need you doing any of that. Um, I'm feeling a little quirky, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Let's go ahead and talk about why, okay? So, on we got a couple new placements, a few new placements happening this week. So, on March 9th, Mercury moves into Pisces. So we're leaving Aquarius. We still have a little bit of that energy right now as we're talking, but it'll be out. And this might feel like you want to have deeper conversations with others. You might also feel more reserved um, during this time with conversation because there's a bit of depth when it comes to Pisces and sometimes a little bit of confusion. So I would invite you, if you do have loved ones close to you during this cycle, to speak out your dreams to them. This would be a great time to speak out your dreams. Pisces is the dreamer, and what better time to start your process of consciously creating than when spring enters? As we enter spring, this is a great time to really be planting those seeds. So we also now have Venus in Aquarius, which you'll see my little attire here. You'll be able to tell. Um, Maybe show love for yourself or others in a unique way during this transit. Express your love for yourself in an individualistic way, like I am right now, that shows your self-expression, your inner self-expression that you wouldn't normally do. I mean, you can see, look at me right now and you'll see what that looks like. All right. I was gonna say, I almost was gonna say what I'm looking like, but never mind. We're not going there. You have to watch the YouTube, okay? I'm gonna get you over here, whether you like it or not. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to come here if you don't want to. If this isn't Venus in Aquarius, with what I look like right now, then I don't know what it is. And we also have Mars entering Aquarius right now. And I would say with this, take some inspired action with this transit. Think outside of the box with where you're going in life. This would be a great time to start visualizing the process of your ambitions. Mars is really ruled by ambitions and drive, right? So think of just noodle on it. Noodle on some new innovative ways that you can take action. Okay? So let's talk about the focus for this week. I want you guys to know before we get into it. I'll also remind you at the end, because I know by the time we get to the middle, you're going to be like, what's going on? What's going on for this week? It's a wild ride. Okay? It's the roller coaster that I am way too short to ride. Should not be allowed. I've already told Leah that I might not be on on social media this week, but who knows? Maybe, excuse me, maybe it'll go a different angle. It's always potential for high or low, right? So having the awareness around it is the first step. So we have a focus this week on our emotions. I could just end right there and you guys will figure it out for yourselves. We have, like I said, Sun in Pisces, which is fitting with the focus of this week. With the solar plexus, it's really active. That's all I'm going to say. It's inviting us to be open to the possibility of expressing ourselves towards the beginning of this week. There could be a fear about others rejecting our expressions this week as well. If you feel this way at any point through this week, ask yourself, what story have I created in my mind or past experience or experiences to validate this feeling? We all feel rejection at times, and it will be about pausing for that moment to wait to know when to speak or not. This will also be about having an open environment. Is your environment open enough to support you this week? Is a great question. And if you haven't already gotten your environments class, I'm going to plug us right here. If you haven't already gotten your environments class, go ahead and pick it up. And also, thank you to everyone that has purchased. I mean, this was our biggest selling class.
Yeah, huge thank you to everybody. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, let us know. We're interested. If you haven't already told us how it's going for you, let us know. Just wanted to say that because this would be a great week to honestly look at your environment with what's going on. So is your environment open enough to support you this week? And what's going to help ground you is releasing the delusion of oppression. Our mind sometimes convinces us that we are not in control of our life, or this sense that the world is against you. I can relate very much to this expression with being transferred personal and also my South Node Scorpio. These are the two biggest placements that really shine this light for me. So what we will be invited to remember this week is everything we see in our outside world is just a mirror of our internal world. As I was putting together these notes, I thought to myself, we are always at war with ourselves in some sort of way. There's always some sort of resistance or restriction. I mean, obviously, there's times of ease and grace, but I feel like for the most part, as humans, especially with people fighting, like trying to resist the fear, but also being stuck in it at the same time, this comes up. So, um, when I first started working at the Kabbalah Center, also, we just had an episode on what Kabbalah is. If you want to take a listen to that, our last episode, I remember looking up and seeing the sign over the synagogue where people would gather and also to pray and learn. And the words that were right above this room was called the War Room. And I thought, how funny to have this over the most spiritual place in the center, the War Room. And so my first line in open head had to know, why was this place called the War Room? And so I went to a teacher and I asked them, why is this most spiritual room of all this entire center called the War Room? And a teacher told me it's because we are at war with ourselves. And this is where we come to meet our opponent, meaning the not self in human design. I remember going, wow, that is truth. I feel it's the moment we forget that we are all battling some sort of internal demon is when we forget how much we are all connected and all one. So if you're on this material plane, I lost my spot. Hold on. I was going somewhere good. Okay. If you are on this material plane, you're doing some sort of internal work. We always are. In Kabbalah, they call this tikkun, which means correction. And again, check out our last episode on Kabbalah if you haven't already listened to it. I think it's important to honor the systems that created human design and understand why they are. So just, contemplate. I have a lot more to tell you on what to noodle on. So contemplate on that. But while you're contemplating on that, I want to tell you about the communication for this week. And it's about our feelings, just a little bit more about our feelings and going to the depth of what is going on in our internal world and finding a way to express it, finding acceptance in what is. If there's one thing I want you to remember this week, it's going to be, and I'm telling this to myself, okay, because I have a completely open solar plexus, so this is going to be a wild ride for me. So finding acceptance in what is. And that's, if we could learn to do that more, we would all feel a little bit more at ease. So on Tuesday, we're only on Tuesday, guys. I just want to preface where we're at. On Tuesday, we get another emotional surge on expressing these feelings. They will be pushed and pressurized through our love and our drive. You might either be feeling overly ambitious this week or the complete opposite. You could feel stuck and like you can't move. There might be an urge to release your feelings this week. So allow yourself to unravel. This really will be the week of unraveling. To add to this, we will enter another quick emotional surge on Wednesday. It's moving through the moon, so it'll be quick. Be a good time to go and speak out how you are feeling on this day. This might be a beautiful time to share your past experiences on this day with those that you feel the most comfortable and connected to. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we have another brief emotional surge through the expression of emotions, to express oneself or not, to speak out or not. This week is full of feelings, and it's pushing all of us emotionals and non-emotionals to honor just where we are at and realize there is no clarity in the now. Allow yourself to be where you're at moment to moment and just live in that space and know that whatever you're feeling in that moment this week is not going to stay. Nothing is going to stay settled this week. It's just not. And that's not a bad thing. I want to preface that everything that I'm saying right now is definitely not a bad thing. It's however you make of it, and it's also whatever you're working on in your internal world. And that's why I'm like I should probably not be online this week. So that's just me. Maybe you too. Sorry for all the throat clearing, guys. I've also had some congestion with the boys being sick, so bear with me. Anyways, we're moving along. I'm gonna chug away to basically we have this about the same stuff going on through the week until we get to Sunday. Sunday we will gain a new focus on our emotions. Everything I'm like, and the new focus is on our emotions, but just in a different expression. That's all. We're getting a bunch of different expressions of our emotions this week. Okay, guys. So to keep with the theme of riding the waves this week, and I want to note again that I'm in a potential place of a tsunami, but that's okay. You might be too. Maybe Leah's shaking her head yes, so she's like probably. So all the non-emotionals, get your helmets. Okay, get your helmets, get your body gear, get your padding. No, I'm just kidding. We are focusing towards the end of this week and beginning of next on resistance, which is probably honestly a place where you might be at towards the end of this week is resistance. This will be about the energy and determination to persevere in the face of opposition and being grounded in friction. Okay. So resistance met with friction will be the new focus for the end of this week, beginning of next. So to know when to retreat is going to be important for you. You might be feeling on Sunday you need a little breather with all of the emotions this week. It's going to be, and I'll say I'm gonna be positive about this. Who knows where I will be at the end of this week, but I'm gonna start off positive, okay? So this is an opportunistic week when it comes to our emotions. Be aware of them is all I have to say. Don't project your inner hardships out on other people. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. I'm repeating that for myself too. Leah's like, yes, please don't do that. Don't project your inner hardships out on other people. Be kind this week. As I say, this also to myself, awareness is half the battle. It's what you do with that awareness that leads you to growth and expansion. Now, obviously, we have a lot of emotional waves this week with a heavy focus on the solar plexus. Observe what comes up for you and just allow it to move. And that's what I got.
I am not I mean, how could it get more of a roller coaster than last week? Because last week
I
felt
know
like it was
we had
too.
a yeah, it was could you imagine if last week happened this week?
No. I mean, we call this the program because it's like, what program are we tuning into this week? I
Yeah,
feel like
what
we're
episode
like
is it?
the season finale of like season 3, where like there's a bunch of people that are at war with each other or
Mm-hmm.
themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and there's going to be a cliffhanger.
Yeah, this is kind of like
And
we're in the middle of that right now. We're like, okay, what is about to potentially happen this week? Because like it's like we're seeing like we give you guys almost like the what's it called at the beginning? The preview. We give you a little preview.
Cliff
This is a
notes.
preview of
Yeah.
potential. It's a
Yeah.
preview of potential of what the energy will be for this week. It depends on what's going on with you internally. What's your environment like? How much are you honoring your authority? Okay, these are the kinds of questions you need to be asking yourself.
Yeah.
And for me this year, I feel like there's a lot of internal work that I'm working on. I think with my South Node Scorpio, I'm like, and I'm fully like engaged in it and allowing it to just be. And I'm like almost like purposefully trying to bring it to the surface now. Which I feel like we all kind of need to find some way to do that in whatever healthy way you can. Like I feel like going to craniosacral therapy is healthy for me to get this out because it this this has been heavy times that we've been in, and it's gonna go for a while.
Yeah. Give yourself a lot of grace. I mean, you said that,
Yeah.
like, be kind and don't project your emotions to others
Hmm.
and be kind
Have
to yourself
awareness.
too. Yeah.
It always starts with awareness, which is often hard. As being the observer, which you are as well, I feel like I don't know if I know you're a projector, which makes it and also 2-4 makes there's a couple gray areas over like surrounding you. But I feel like once you can tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna watch with what the way I react to things, or I'm gonna watch. Sometimes I even just watch myself wash my hands. Like, have you ever done that? Like, just like watch yourself, like as if it was a movie, and you were just watching yourself like clean the house or something, or like something mundane that's like not like it's
Yeah.
like wow, we're alive.
I'm usually driving and then I'm like, well, I missed my turn.
No, I don't mean like daydreaming. I
No,
mean
no,
like
I'm not daydreaming. I'm like, who is driving my car right now? Oh, it's me driving my car. Not all the time. I don't want to scare anybody. But
don't
I
get in the
think,
car
yeah,
with Leah.
don't get in the car with me. Um, I think cleaning for sure. And probably just like doing things like a shower or,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, a workout. I did a workout today. I ran on my treadmill
Oh yeah,
behind
I
me.
saw that. Yeah, that was
And
nice.
that was totally one of those experiences where I was like, who is this running this in this body?
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh, okay. So, all of that being said, thank you, Crystal, for the foresight for what could be potentially coming or not.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull a card for tarot and then I'll do one for the Work Your Light deck. I actually started listening to her, it's written by Rebecca Campbell, and she has another one called Black is the New Light. Light is the New Black. It might be Light is the New Black. I can't remember. It's one or the other. She has a second one. This one is Work Your Light. And it was really good. It was really good. She has it on Audible as well as the deck. Okay. So I got the Three of Cups, and I'm going to show our YouTube people. The Three of Cups is three people. Three is actually the strongest number because three, you think of a triangle is the strongest shape because it has 3 points of contact and they're all together. So, as in the cups are about emotions. And they're also about this one in particular, the three is about celebration. And they are basically celebrating friendship or celebrating creativity. There's a lot of grapes and bounty at the bottom of this card where they have worked really hard at their, the fruits of their labor. So for you, if you are finding yourself that you've worked really hard towards something, or if you have been collaborating with other people, then this might be a good week for you to express, especially with all these emotional transits coming, express to others like what you're grateful to them for, and give yourself some gratitude, give yourself some grace, and celebrate yourself, recognize yourself. I feel like projectors, we don't do that enough for ourselves. Recognize yourself. I think that's a really powerful thing, is to say, like, I'm really proud of myself for doing this thing, and whatever that looks like for you, and allow others to recognize you too, no matter who you are. You don't have to just be a projector. Allow others to recognize you for the work that you've done and for what you have achieved. So that's really, I love that one. It's really pretty. Okay, so then the next one will be from the Work Your Light deck. And again, I'll show my YouTube people. I say our. So there is that book. It's funny because my kids want a YouTube channel, but they just want to like play like their game on their iPad, their Kindle. They're like, we want a YouTube.
Milo too.
Yeah, I'm like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I feel
they
like
could,
people would watch Milo though because he's the observed and he's a
yeah,
manifester, and he
yeah,
just like does all these weird random things that like people would just be interested in watching, but I'm just like I
totally.
can't get behind my child having a YouTube channel right now.
I
I don't
can't
know.
either. Nope.
Can't do it.
Nope. We'll watch everybody else's kids who have the YouTube channel. We'll support them. Okay. Same card. I don't know how this happens. Don't dim your light to fit in. And I'll read it again because
Wasn't that
obviously,
only on when we did the,
yeah, that was on the meditation that we did.
yeah.
So obviously, only whoever was there got to hear it. Okay, so don't dim your light to accommodate someone else's smallness. We are all born to shine bright, big and bright. The universe is expanding and you are part of the universe. So expanding is part of your nature. If someone makes you want to retract, notice and slowly back away. They are not for you and you are not for them. Better yet, find it within yourself to expand and shine your light anyway. Flowers don't open and close according to who is walking by. They open and show their beauty regardless. If others don't want to be around you or make them feel uncomfortable, it's because you're shining light on the fact that they are dimming to fit in. By choosing to shine bright, you may just inspire them to turn on their light too, or not, and that's okay. Just keep shining your light anyway. All relationships are essentially an energetic agreement. The moment one person decides to start rising up and allowing their light to shine, it changes the energetic agreement and can create some waves, and that's completely normal. The relationships that are meant to last will adapt to the energy and change, but others won't because they're likely born under the proviso of, I love you as long as you don't shine brighter than me. And that's okay too. Not all people are meant to be in your life forever, but the lessons they teach us can still live on. So, a question you can journal on or write for yourself for this week is, how are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And maybe what are some ways that you can start shining your light? What are some things that you shine at that other people don't? And are you allowing yourself to shine? And who is not allowing you to shine? And who needs to be removed? And who is taking away that energy from you because they don't deserve to be in your bubble? And if they don't support you for what you do and who you are, that's my defined heart
Yeah.
saying
Yeah. If you
boundaries.
need a little love, come to the Defined Hearts. We'll tell you
Yeah.
we'll tell you what's up. We'll motivate you. But I I I think that we are going to start with, especially this year, focused on relationships, like reevaluating our relationships and who's really holding space for who we actually are and who's wanting us to fit into this box.
You know, as you say that, these go together really well. Like, don't dim your light to fit in. Who is in this circle celebrating with you?
Mm-hmm.
Three
Mm-hmm.
of
Who's
Cups.
celebrating you?
Who's celebrating you? And are you celebrating yourself? And are you celebrating those who are also shining and willing to shine?
Ask the people that you're closest to this week, maybe, especially midweek when we got a lot more throat energy happening with our emotions, to ask people like, what am I good at? What do you love about me? Like what are my positive attributes, so that you can get confirmation, especially if you're a third line. Like I feel like for third lines especially, because speaking for myself, like I always feel like I'm just like a failure in some way, that every like because I have an open throat, and like I often feel like I'm overlooked, that I assume that because people don't want to, I don't even know what the words are exactly, like just I don't want to use the word like ignore me, because I see a lot of people watching me, but like can we stop disassociating with the people that we're connecting to? Like, seriously. I know I talked about this on our heart episode, which if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. We have to get better. We have to get better at supporting ourselves and also supporting each other. Like, why do we have to bring other people down or ignore their positive attributes? Ignore that they're actually like, you know, trying to be the light in whatever way that seems to them, even if it doesn't look like the light to you. But if they're happy, like, why can't we support that? Why can't we cheer that on? Like, hey, look, this
Exactly.
person's fucking happy over here. Like, I want happiness. Let me go cheer them on so they can shine their light a little brighter so that maybe it can pour into me so that I can shine my light a little brighter so that it can pour into someone else. It's a whole trickle effect down the line. If we all just allowed other people to shine and embrace that beauty that we can see through them and not be scared of it, not be envious of it, not be jealous of it, and just say, look, that person over there really is doing something great. I'm gonna go tell them. I slide into people's DMs all the time, and I said this on the on our heart episode, and I just tell them that they're great. I'm just like, I really like the way you do this. I really love the way, like, I see this positive attribute in you, and I just want to tell you, I think it's amazing. Wouldn't you rather make someone's day instead of hinder their day?
Yeah. I think that we can, like, we need to get rid of the it must be nice, like that comparison to someone else's whatever, because everybody else's wherever they are is
Right.
always going to be different than where we are. Like that comparison of someone's chapter 1 to chapter 12, like your book is completely different than somebody else's book. Nothing ever looks the same because we're all on a different path.
Journey.
And when we say it must be nice that that person is really happy, we have a choice. We have a choice to just allow ourselves to be happy and to make decisions or make choices or focus on things that make us happy, because it's easy to default to the lack mentality. It's easy
Yeah.
to default
And
to what we
well, it's
don't
easier
have.
to get triggered and
Yeah,
project it back out to the person as it's your fault for fucking triggering me instead of saying, hey, I got this weird, and this is going to probably come up this week. I got this weird feeling running through me right now. What is it trying to tell me? Why
right.
don't you start there? What is this feeling? What is this trigger? What is this negative attribute that I'm experiencing right now that I'm saying is negative, which it's really not negative. Nothing is actually negative or positive. We just associate, we have to associate a label to them. We have to as
Yeah.
humans.
Our brains can't do it any other way.
Exactly. But if we can come back to the body and say, okay, body, you're trying to get me to feel something. You're trying to get me to experience something. You're trying to get me to move through a blockage. Just like as I told you at the beginning in our intro, that I had to experience that feeling again as that 4-year-old version of myself and allow that blockage to just say, you know what, you don't have to be here anymore. You don't, you're not, you're, I know you tried to protect me for this long, but you don't actually have to anymore. And if we can say that to ourselves a little bit more instead of fighting that feeling,
Yeah.
we would all be, we wouldn't, I want to believe that we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in right now as a globe.
Yeah.
And
It's interesting that I just had this flashback to an event that I went to, and it was basically the same thing. So we did like a short meditation, and you kind of, whatever you're feeling, how does that associate to maybe something that is a trigger from childhood? Like, what is your inner child? What is he or she or they saying? What is that inner child trying to protect you from? And often, like you said, it's blocked by something, you can't see it. And we were guided through this routine, or not a routine, through this, whatever it is that we're working on. Loss of words right now. Basically, we were guided to take that, whoever it was, and change that narrative and say, instead of you protect, like, thank you for protecting me, thank you for all of this time that you spent trying to protect me all of these years. Now it's time for us to put a new name to you. Let's give you a new job. Let's give you
Yeah.
a new job that we walk together and we don't have to walk, you in front of me to protect me. And I'm going to take you and we're going to stand side by side and we're going to walk. And I would like to know if you'd like to take this new job title. Basically, you kind of ask
Mhm.
like that inner child, like, would you like to take this new job title? Would you like to keep going with me and protect me, but in a different way, so that we
Mhm.
can learn from all of those? Because there's going to be times where those triggers are going to come back up and they're just going to come up in different ways and different scenarios with
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
rather than like just always being protected all of the time.
People don't talk about this enough, and I feel like it's going to start getting more center stage, but people like to use the word and I apologize if I trigger you with all of what we're just about to talk about, but let's talk about it. When people say like I'm healed, I don't I don't I don't I don't buy into that. I feel like we're constantly healing. Can you
Always.
heal a layer? 100%.
Sure.
150%. I've had so many people say to me, "Why is it that I thought I was past this? You're, I thought I was past this. I thought I got through this already. I thought I already understood this experience. I thought I was healed. But why is this coming back up for me in my life now in a different way? Because there's always more layers. As a third line, I know this. There's always more layers to healing every experience that you've ever been through in your entire life. It will show up in a new version so that you can heal that aspect, and then it's going to show up as another version, maybe even 10, 15, 20 years down the line. You're like, "Oh, I really and why is this coming back in this way now?" Because there's certain contracts, I believe, and you can tell me a bunch of BS. I don't care. I really don't. But there's certain contracts, and this is something that I learned in Kabbalah, that there's like contracts that we make with ourselves and with each other. And that's also your chart. That's your fucking birth chart, okay? That we've made that say, you know what? I'm signing the contract to learn this lesson. I'm gonna learn all about freedom this life. But in order for me to know freedom, I need to understand what it means to not be free. I need to understand what it means to be locked up. I need to understand what it means to put the shackles on myself from the very beginning to then take them off. How can you know what true freedom is if you don't know what it means to be like closed and locked and 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 wrapped up in these shackles that you don't even understand why they're there in the first place, because you're here to learn freedom. So we all have a path that we're here to take. That's why I like to say we're all on our own journey. That's why my business is called Journey Through Human Design, because it's a motherfucking journey, okay? Excuse me, I curse a lot. So just get over it, okay? I'm so tired. I feel
Right.
like that's why more people are coming over here, because I'm like, this bitch is fucking free over here. I am. I don't care. On Instagram, I feel like the shackles are on over there. I don't know.
Over here,
I
we have an option. We have an explicit button or we have a
Yeah.
not, but it's not explicit in the way that we're like being
Yeah, I'm not trying
bad.
to be an
Just
I'm
we're
not trying to
just
be an a-hole.
allowing we're just allowing the words to flow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually me. I don't know if Leah's ever cursed on anything we've done.
No.
You might have like one time by accident, but I
Well, because I've like trained myself through all of the like the wellness business that I did before all of this. I
be
trained
professional.
my brain to like be professional, which meant don't swear and like be, you know,
A good little girl and put on this
fuck,
front.
fuck that shit.
Yeah. Everybody say it. Say it with us. Fuck that
Yeah.
shit. Like seriously, this is turning into like the Defined Hearts coaching everybody that's on this episode right now.
I love it.
I'd love to know how you guys feel after listening to this whole thing. And sorry for all the times that I'm like laughing and talking at the same time and I listen to them back, because we obviously have to listen to ourselves to we got to make sure this came out right. And I'm always like, Crystal, stop laughing and talking at the same time. Nobody hears you. So it will probably happen again. So
Well, I'm real major critics of our own voices. As soon as we hear it, we're like,
yeah,
we get
nobody
stuck on
likes to
our own
listen to
things.
their own voice.
Yeah, exactly.
But speak your voice this week, okay? But try to do it with kindness. Can you do it with awareness and integrity, without like intentionally trying to offend someone? I mean, obviously, we're always offending people. That's the thing that I'm really trying to let go of, is that I'm somehow, whatever comes out of my mouth, I'm going to offend someone. It will probably happen, okay? Everyone's butt hurt regularly. Okay? It just is. And I speak to myself when I say this as well. Whenever I'm talking, I'm speaking to myself too. It's not just to you guys.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to be butt hurt this week. Okay? Allow yourself to speak your truth, but just do it with the intention of kindness. Now, if you have to say some hard words, that's okay. But we have to learn how to speak to each other as if we were speaking to ourselves with love, because sometimes we don't speak to ourselves with love either. So I need to preface that with love.
With love. Hmm.
But don't bypass the feelings either. You're probably like, what am I supposed to do? Like, my unconscious sun in Libra is always like, can we find some sort of middle ground? Can you find it? You might teeter totter on one side or the other, but see if you can find a little bit of centeredness this week in the emotions.
Good luck.
You said that to me. I have one that I'm going to be creating. It's not just like a completely open one, which some of them will be completely open, that I'm going to be entering into, and same with you guys listening as well. If you have an undefined or open solar plexus, but I'm just like, all right, I'm prepared, sort of, a little bit. So we'll
Yep.
see what happens.
You got it. We're here for
So
you.
we're here for you. If you need anything, come find us. We're always here. We also have our human design support group where we are literally there to support you. So check it out if you haven't done so already, and take a little breather this week. And we'll see ya on the next one.
See you later.
Bye. I feel like we have to wave now.
Bye.